Coaching Mastery, 5 keys to bringing your dreams to life is what I've called it. And when I ask you questions, if you just want to pop yourself into the chat box there, and if everyone can pop themselves on mute so that we can not hear things in the background, that would be wonderful. So this is me. I'm Stephanie Kakris, and my website's highperformancecoach.com.au. And some of you on the video know me very well, and others of you have not heard me speak before. So I shall just very briefly introduce myself. And whoever's playing funny buggers drawing on the screen, you don't need to be doing that and playing around with the Zoom thing. The short story is that I've known since I was quite young that I've wanted to assist people to reach their full potential. And I was one of those lucky people who always knew what they wanted to do, or knew for quite a while what they wanted to do. And I went off to university and I studied psychology, and I did a master's in sports psychology because the idea of assisting people with their peak performance and getting the best out of themselves was what I really wanted to do, as opposed to sitting in a room helping people with clinical depression and anxiety and things like that. Didn't really float my boat. And so, I went off to uni and I did lots of study, and it was really hard. And I did my master's, and I finished off thinking that I'd have this wonderful career in sport, only to be very disappointed that after I finished uni, I didn't really know much about working with people. And the techniques that we learned in traditional psychology didn't help me. So during my later years at uni, I started getting some anxiety and some mental health issues of my own. And basically practicing what they taught me in psychology wasn't helping. So I became rather disillusioned with being a practitioner, because I was like, well, if those techniques don't help me, then how on earth am I going to help anyone else with getting through the things that we need to get through in life? I did try my best. I worked for about 5 or 6 years with elite athletes, mostly for free, trying to get a name for myself. But I didn't really have that much confidence because I just didn't have the skills that I needed. Anyway, my husband came across a company called Beyond Success, and I went along and did their coach training, even though at the time I was a bit reluctant, because I thought, well, what on earth are they going to teach me that I don't already know, because I've got 6 years of psychology training and blah, blah, blah. Well, boy, was I proven wrong, because in 2 days, we'll probably say the first training was 5 days really. I learnt more in those 5 days about working with people and about myself than I did with 6 years at university. So that really blew me away. And then I went on to work for them, and I taught their coach training program for a number of years. And I started looking into the more spiritual side of self-improvement, rather than just the pure clinical side that I'd learned at uni. And that was the stuff that really started working for me. And then I sort of learned more and more about law of attraction and writing intentions and how powerful that was. And I'm going to share some really cool stories with you tonight about some amazing things that my clients have manifested with the techniques that I'm going to show you. And my life has really taken off since I've learned all those things. So that's why I feel really excited to share with others what I've learned. So my mission statement is to inspire, support, and encourage people to identify and attract what they truly want in life. And this is a photo of my beautiful family. It's a few years old now. My husband Peter and my daughter Alexia, who's now 7, and my son Anthony, who's now 12. And being a mum is my number one priority, and I love it. And being a coach and helping other people is a very close second. So that's a bit about me. So this is like a vision board that I did for my own business a couple of years ago. And I also run vision boarding workshops, which I haven't done for a while because on the weekend is mostly family time. But that just gives you an idea of, what you can do with picking out words and just making you feel really good. And my business has definitely improved since I put that together. So what I'm going to share to you today, with you today, is really powerful stuff. I've been learning myself, studying the law of attraction in particular, and about the spirituality and the science of manifesting for probably pretty close to 10 years now. And what I'm going to teach you today is really the tip of the iceberg in terms of what I know about manifesting. So hopefully it's okay with you all that at the end of my session tonight, I'm going to share with you some information about a 5-week program that I've been running, which is called Quantum Leap, which is sort of a step-by-step process where I teach you more in depth about the science, and then we move on to actually how to set the intention. And I work closely with everyone on the program, how to set their intentions and follow through with them. There's also some money stuff in there, specifically about manifesting money, and also some personality profiling stuff in there. So I'll talk to you more about that later. So I would like to ask you, and hopefully you read my email, to say, well, what is it that you would like to manifest in your life? So if you could just type into the chat box, and if you'd like to make it confidential, you can see that there's an option to type to me only. Otherwise, everyone will see your answers, and that's fine. If you're happy for everyone to see the answers, just type it into everyone. Otherwise, just select to pick me only, and I'll see. So just type in there. So what is it in your life that you would like to improve? Maybe a bigger or a different home, maybe an improvement in your career, maybe an improvement in an intimate relationship, or to attract an ideal partner, maybe an improvement in income, or maybe it's something about what kind of a difference that you'd like to make in the world. So just type in your answers, please. So yeah, to attract a relationship, great. Partner, to increase income, excellent. To further my career, to make it more satisfying, yep, definitely. And to have a family, good. And to increase prosperity, increase income, which covers debt, giving and living. Excellent. Thanks, everyone. So, oh, what's happened here? Okay. So the basic premise of the law of attraction says that we are all magnets. So what dominates our thoughts, beliefs and feelings dominates our experiences. So we are all made up. Everything in the universe is made up of vibrational energy, including us. And what impacts our vibrational energy includes our thoughts and beliefs and our feelings. And yeah, they're the main things that impact our vibrational energy. And when we are vibrating at a certain level, and when we're thinking about certain things, then our experiences will be the same. So the law of attraction is always working, always, whether we like it or not. It can be a bit scary to kind of realize that it's always working. Some people think that they can make it work sometimes, and other times they can't make it work. Well, that's not the case. You're always making it work. It's just that sometimes it's not working in our favour, and sometimes well, I believe personally it's always working in our favour, but sometimes it doesn't seem that way. So with what I'm going to show you tonight, we'll show you how to change your vibration so that you attract different experiences for yourself in certain areas. So when we are in vibrational alignment with whatever it is that we want to manifest, they come into our existence. So this is a beautiful little graphic where, you know, we're all magnets, and whatever it is that we're thinking about and that we're feeling and that we can just sense in our knowing is what will turn up into our existence. So some people say to me, you know, does this stuff really work? So I'll just share with you a few success stories to as an indication of how it works when people have been able to change their vibration. So a lady that came to a vision boarding workshop that I did decided that she was going to go to her nephew's wedding in Vietnam. So the nephew's wedding, I think it was about 3 or 4 months away from when she set the intention. She's a pensioner and she really does live very frugally and does not have many cents to spare at the end of every fortnight. And she had absolutely no idea about how she could possibly get to Vietnam to get to her nephew's wedding. Anyway, a few weeks later, she was at another wedding in Melbourne. She's from Melbourne. And she just happened to be randomly sitting next to a very wealthy woman. And they were chatting, and the wealthy woman said, you know, they were just talking about weddings, and my client said to her, oh, actually, you know, I really want to go to my nephew's wedding in Vietnam. And, but I don't have the means to do it. And then they were just chatting about the wedding. And they got to know each other over the course of the night. They'd never met before, complete strangers, but really hit it off. And by the end of the night, the woman said to my client, I would like to pay for you to go to your nephew's wedding. And my client didn't really quite believe it, but she was insistent and adamant that she would help pay for my client to go. And my client ended up going. So when you really set the intention, even if you don't have any idea of how on earth is that going to happen, you just never know how the universe might make things conspire to make things work out so that you can get there. So that's a really cool story. Another lady called Kerry did my Quantum Leap program recently, and she was a bit short with an investment, and she wasn't really quite sure how they were going to make it work. It wasn't really, if there was a party, there was a group of a few of them, and they'd had a bit of an issue with the development that they were doing, and the council had changed their mind about how many dwellings they were going to be allowed to put on that land. Anyway, so she set the intention that it was all going to work out. And over the course of the few weeks, she got a phone call from one of her business partners where the council had contacted them and done a complete backflip with their decision about how many dwellings they were going to allow to put on the site. And for absolutely no reason whatsoever, the council had just changed their mind, and they were going to be allowed to have the extra dwellings, which means basically that my client was going to get $100,000 profit, whereas before she wasn't going to be making much profit from the whole project at all. So that was a really cool outcome as well. My client Roger, who you can see in the photo here, was single for about 4 years. And we worked together and wrote down a really clear intention for what kind of a partner he wanted. And he just rang me about 3 weeks ago saying, you'll never guess what, Steph, I have met the most amazing woman, and she ticks every single one of the boxes that we wrote down. And now they just hit it off and they're really very happy. So that's a great story. And then literally last night, I spoke to my client Arch, who set an intention 3 months ago to travel to Thailand for a charitable venture to help this orphanage in China. So there's a program called Hands Across the Water. And he also wanted to have a holiday, but he had no idea of how it was going to work out. So the trip was through his Rotary Club, and it's planned for mid-November. And he set this 3 months ago now, so mid-July it was that he set the intention. And at the time when he said it, he had no annual leave. He was doing a casual role, so he wasn't entitled to any annual leave. And he didn't have the money either to get there. But he really, really wanted to go. And he set this beautiful intention with creating a lot of feelings. So one thing I teach about setting intentions is it's really important to write how you're going to feel when you get there, when you get whatever it is that you want. And he wrote it all out for the purpose of the exercise, so that because we were learning exactly how to do it, and I gave him a bit of feedback and everything. And then he put it aside because he wrote it off for this year, really, because there was no way that he would see that it was actually going to happen. Anyway, just last night I heard from him, and since he wrote that intention, he's got a new job which is paying significantly more salary than the one that he had before, and it also provides a car as part of the job. So then he was able to sell his car, and he got more for it than he'd expected. And then he got a call from HR saying that he had all this annual leave that he needed to use because he'd gone from the casual role in the same company to the full-time role, the job within the same company. But he didn't think he had accrued any annual leave because previously he was just on a contract, like on a casual role, sorry. And they said to him, oh no, if you get moved to permanent and you've been there more than 12 months, you actually end up back accruing your annual leave. So he had 5 weeks annual leave owing that he had no idea that he had owing. And they told him that he needed to use 2 weeks ASAP because they don't like them accruing more than 3 weeks at a time. He had the money for his car and he just went, oh my God, I can go to Thailand. He said, I can't believe how this is all unfolded. So now I can go. So he was going to be, after he spoke to me last night, he hung up and he was going to book his flights, and he also got a call from a friend saying that she wanted to come with him, and he's pretty excited, as you can imagine. So some really cool stuff. Personally, I've manifested enough money to buy a new car that my husband and I really wanted, which is a Toyota Prius, which is a petrol electric car. We're really big into the environment, and my husband's are really big into anything new technology, and he loves the idea of the car using the petrol and the electrics. I put it out there that I wanted a new TV, and we were driving along the road and we literally saw a 55-inch TV on the side of the road on the nature strip outside someone's house. And Peter goes, oh my God, there's a TV. And I went, oh, it couldn't possibly be working if someone wouldn't just throw out a brand new TV unless it was broken. And he said, well, let's throw it in the car and we'll see. And we get it home and we plug it in and it's working perfectly. There are a few very minor marks in the corner which don't bother us, but, just turned up like that. So anything can happen. So in terms of the science behind the law of attraction, this is one of my favourite experiments that they've replicated over and over. So this lady called Lynn McTaggart, who is a journalist, and she was really interested in quantum physics and in how the law of attraction works. She was talking to a group of, so she'd set up this experiment. So she was actually in Sydney when this experiment started. And she had a person lab in America, where she's from, who had 4 random groups of seeds, and they were barley seeds. And Lynn was in Australia doing a talk about the law of attraction, about the power of intention. So she thought she'd set up this experiment. So the group, she was talking to about 350 people, and the group had to choose which group of seeds that they would set an intention to. So the intention was for the seeds that they chose, the group, to grow higher, taller than the other seeds. So which one were they going to pick, A, B, C or D? So they decided which group of seeds they were going to pick. In the meantime, the lady back in America had no idea which group of seeds they picked. So she just had the 4 group of seeds. Her job was to put seeds in identical environments and to measure their growth rate. So the intention was that the seeds will grow at least 3 centimetres more than the other seeds by the 4th day of growing. And basically the group of people that Lynn was talking to at this workshop closed their eyes and sent energy to that group of seeds, I think it was group B that they chose, to grow taller, to grow tall. So back at the lab a few weeks later, the seeds with the intention, so the group of seeds, group B of the seeds with the intention, grew on average 56 millimetres across the whole group of seeds, compared to the other 3 groups of seeds that averaged 48 millimetres. So there's a 2 millimetre variation. So they grew from 54 to 58 centimetres. So 56 was the actual, hang on, sorry. Hang on, unplug my phone. My phone keeps playing funny buggers. So there's a 2 millimetre variation. So the groups A, C and D grew between 46 and 50 millimetres, but the group B was significantly taller just because that group of people sent an intention for them to grow taller, and it was statistically significant. And they've replicated that experiment, as I say, many times with different seeds. The person in the lab had no idea which group was chosen until after the experiment had been done. And yeah, to me, it's just really cool, powerful. Like, well, they weren't even in the same country. Like, they were right across the opposite side of the world. So I just want you to think about what your success story might be whilst I'm giving you my 5 keys. So I've sort of, as I've been talking, I've sort of already given you some of the keys, but I will go through them all more specifically. So the manifesting key number 1 is to be open to all possibilities. Now, if you've got any questions at all while I'm talking, I should have said this earlier, just type the message into the chat question, and you can unmute yourself and ask as I'm going. I'll have questions at the end, but I'm very happy to be interrupted as I go because I prefer to be asked questions as I go, otherwise you can forget. So manifesting key number 1 is to be open to all possibilities. So it's really important when you're setting an intention to let go of the how and don't allow your past results to dictate what it is that you think that you can do. Because as we've seen with the examples that I've shown you, the people were very surprised. It's not something that has happened to them before, you know, where, you know, the lady who wanted to go to Vietnam, you know, it's not every day that she meets random rich people, you know, at a wedding and they offer to pay for her something. It's never happened to her before in her life. So, and the quantum field, like the scientific evidence behind the law of attraction, says that in our future, the realm of possibilities that could happen is infinite. Like absolutely anything can happen and things can turn around like that. The only thing that stops them from turning around quickly or from from amazing things happening, from $1 million magically landing into our bank account tomorrow or whatever it might be, is our belief system and what we believe is possible for us. So when you're dreaming, I encourage people to dream big and just be open to anything possibly happening. Now, this is a photo from the movie called The Secret Garden, and many of you are probably familiar with the story, but I actually saw this movie. It was on TV last weekend, and I hadn't heard or seen the story since I was quite little, and so I'd completely forgotten about it. And I turned the TV on. It was about 20 minutes in, and my son Anthony sat down to watch it with me, and he said, "Oh, what's happening, Mum?" And I'm like, I'm not really sure, love. I was a bit hard to follow, so I looked up the storyline, and then I was absolutely captivated with the movie, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to share this on my webinar on Wednesday night, because this boy in the wheelchair here was born, and they believed that the movie is set in the early 1900s. I think it was set in about 1910 or something like that. But I don't think it's a true story, but you can see how it could be true. The boy was born and they believed that he had a spinal disability. They believed that he was born severely disabled, and he grew up basically in a room where he didn't walk. He learned how to talk, but they wouldn't let him go outside. They thought that his immune system was severely compromised, and basically they thought that he could die at any time. And so he was like 10 years old, and they were carrying him around. He was not allowed to go outside. He was not allowed. All the staff would wear like a mask when they went in to visit him or to see him, to feed him or anything like that, for fear that he might catch something and die. Anyway, this young girl that you see in the photo here, she comes along. Her parents have passed away and she's got no family, so she gets adopted by this boy's father, who was her uncle. And she doesn't believe that he's crippled at all. So she basically gets him outside and she says to him, "There's nothing wrong with you. Now come on, you can get up and walk." And so, you know, and he believes her and he trusts her, and they escape outside, and eventually she's proven right, and he gets up and he's walking around and running. And then his father comes home, and you know, that's the storyline. But I can see the relevance with how from a very young age, we are taught that we have limits with our abilities. So, you know, if like a lot of young children believe in magic, they believe in using their imagination. They believe that at any time they can step into becoming, you know, when they're a doctor or a nurse or playing mums and dads or whatever it is. And as we get older, we're told, you know, well, that magic, that's not really true. That's just all make-believe. You know, and if we try and use our magic, just like this boy, if he had have thought one day, I wonder if my legs really do work, I'm going to try. And he tried to stand up. Well, of course his legs wouldn't work because he'd never used them before. So even if we have a split-second moment where we think, I'm going to put my beliefs aside and I'm going to try this, I'm going to try using magic, well, it probably won't work the first time we use it because we've never used it before, or we haven't used it since we were very young. Or if we decide to put our beliefs aside that we're not good at something, like let's just say, you know, as a young child we loved painting or singing or something, and we were told ever since that you're never going to be any good at that, or that's not going to get you anywhere in life. Then we try it again when we're older. We just for a moment we suspend our belief that we're not good at it, and then we try it, and then we think, oh, actually that didn't really work. But what we need to do is we need to persist. So this boy had the girl's support, and the other boy that you see in the photo there, who was a friend, had the support and said, no, you need to persist. Your legs are weak. You've never used them. You've got to persist and you've got to get your strength in them so that you can walk. And it's the same with using your manifesting beliefs. Like we're born with belief in magic and belief in all possibilities, but we lose that. And so I would encourage you to really practice this stuff. And if it doesn't work at first, it doesn't mean it's never going to work. So that's my little secret garden story. So manifesting key number 2 is to be really clear and ask for exactly what you want. Now, we don't generally do that. We generally are scared to ask for what we want. I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, if I would nag my mum for something, she would tell me off and say, can you please stop asking? Because the answer is no, and it's going to be no. And so after a while, you kind of learn not to ask. And I know a lot of people have that experience that they're too scared to ask in case the answer is no. So I would say to that, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. Whereas if you do ask, there is a chance that the answer might be yes. So that's something that is really critical for me, something that I've had to learn, is to have the courage to ask, even if the answer is going to be no. And ask for exactly what you want. Like actually get really clear about what it is that you want. So you might want more income, but how much more? And what are you going to do with that money? And, you know, how will that change your life? And how are you going to feel when that happens? So what I encourage you to do is to get really clear and also write a bit of a story around it. Even if you're not quite sure if that's right or not, it doesn't matter. Just write a story around it, write how that's going to feel when that turns up for you. So manifesting key number 3 is about exploring your why. So we all have a deep-seated need to assist others and to do something meaningful with ourselves. So if you can explore why it is that you want what you want, then it helps a lot. So, for instance, if you want to attract a fabulous partner to share your life with, it's really powerful if you can look at exactly why do you actually want to attract that partner? How is that going to make your life better? How are you going to feel? What are you going to do differently? How is it going to change things? Particularly with attracting money and income and abundance and energy, it's really powerful if you can also have a dream that's bigger than you. So for me, my motivation to continuing to grow my business and to earn income is because the more that I have, the more I can give away. and help others with it. Because personally, I don't really need anything much like that I don't already have. Like, I have this beautiful home, I have a beautiful family, you know, we have heaps of things. Yeah, you know, sure, you know, I'd love a new kitchen or a renovation or whatever, but I don't need them. And so that's not what drives me. What drives me is that bigger why, that bigger picture stuff. So that's another key that I would encourage you to explore. Manifesting key number 4, and this is a really critical one because this is about your vibrational energy that I spoke about right at the very beginning. So it's important to surround yourself with people and places that lift you up. So beware of dream stealers. So when you start on this magical process of manifesting and of opening your eyes to seeing the incredible things that are going on in our world, sometimes people would like to share those ideas with their friends because it's really cool, right? But, you know, there are a lot of people that don't believe in it and they're scared to believe in it, or they don't want you to start believing in it because then that might, you know, separate the interests that you have between you. And they might tell you, no, that's ridiculous. Don't be so stupid. That's not true, blah, blah, blah. So, and even just with your goals, you know, to be really careful about who you share your goals and dreams with, because there are a lot of people that don't want to lift you up. They don't want you to change. They just want you to stay the way you are because they know they know you like that. And if you change, then they might not be your friend anymore, or they might not be your partner anymore, or whatever it is. So just be really mindful of surrounding yourself with people and places that lift you up. The other thing in terms of vibrational energy is that when we surround ourselves with good feeling vibes, it just helps keep our vibration high, and without doing anything else, it helps us to attract good things. So start becoming aware of places and people that you're around that drain your energy. So we've all got that friend, you know, that rings us up, and by the time at the end of the phone call, we just feel totally drained. We're just like exhausted because they're just like, oh my God, they're full of dramas, or they don't let you talk, or when you talk, you know, they just want to make a drama out of everything. Or if there's a group of people that you just have nothing in common with, or places that you go, you know, for me, shopping centres are places that feel really heavy for me, that make me feel a bit out of balance. Crowded places like public transport, if it's crowded, they're kind of places that just make me feel a bit off balance and a bit weird. So I protect myself when I need to do those things, and I make sure that I try and go to uplift, you know, things that uplift me, including, you know, what TV that I watch. You know, I rarely watch the news. I don't like watching drama series with, you know, horrible things happening, because I like to watch things that uplift me. And then manifesting key number 5 is to be grateful for what you have already manifested in your life. So we've talked about how the law of attraction is always working. So you've been using the law of attraction for your whole life, and you've already attracted some really wonderful experiences and wonderful friends and wonderful people into your life. So what I would encourage you to do is to have a think about, what is it that's great in your life now that you have actually attracted, even if you didn't realise that you were attracting it. So even if we're not aware, we're still doing it. So for me, I'm so grateful that I have such a beautiful husband, and then my kids are just absolutely gorgeous and such a pleasure to be around. I'm grateful that, you know, we've got this beautiful home that we live in Australia, that, you know, I have such a great core group of friends. You know, even just really little things, like I'm really grateful for, you know, the gardens that we walk past on the way to school. You know, that the kids have a school that we can walk to every morning, you know, that where they feel safe and comfortable and that treats them well. So adopting an attitude of gratitude is really, really a real key, and you know, it's probably why I've put it here as the last number 5 here, because it's absolutely the key to attracting more of that. So there's the word appreciation, or to appreciate means to be grateful for something. I appreciate that in my life. The word also means to expand. So if you think about money appreciating in a bank account, or, to appreciate means to grow. And so there's no coincidence that it's the same word that means appreciate, to be grateful, and that will grow. Those experiences and those good things will continue to grow in your life. So I have a little bit more to share with you, but I've been talking a lot now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop, and I would like you to just type in the chat box one key thing that I've said so far that has really resonated with you, or was a really great reminder, or was an aha moment, or was something that you'd never heard of or thought of before. So if you could just type that into the chat box while I have a sip of my peppermint tea. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for 2 seconds and put you all on here. Okay, so to dream big, great. Let go of the how, excellent. To be really clear on what I want, yep, good. So once you get really clear, make sure that you write it down. It's really important that you write it down. I hadn't thought about the importance of surrounding yourself with positive people, but it makes a lot of sense. Also makes me think about how I have supported other people's dreams. Yeah, awesome. Awesome, thanks. Believing there are no limits on what I can achieve, excellent. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Anyone else got anything, any aha moments, anything, one thing that you've thought was really cool so far? While I reshare my screen again. Okay. So, yeah, so that's number 5. How did that happen? Okay. So where to from here? So what I really believe in is applying knowledge. So knowledge for knowledge's sake is fine. It's great. It's, I'm a lifelong learner. I absolutely love learning. But if we go away and just go, oh, that was interesting, yeah, that was pretty cool, and we don't actually apply any of the knowledge, then it's not so useful. So I really implore you to apply something that you've learnt today. So, definitely start becoming more grateful. Be really mindful about who you share your goals and dreams with. And, as Anita said, be mindful of your approach to when other people share their dreams with you and what you say to them. Because, yeah, you might think they're completely delusional, but, and you might say, well, I'm not really sure if that's going to work, but you never know. You never know. Let's just wait and see. So, yeah, so go away and apply what you've learned today. When you get really clear on what you want, I encourage you to write it down, because there is magic power in actually putting pen to paper and writing something down rather than just holding it in your head. It does make a difference. The second possibility about taking action is to learn more about how to raise your vibration and about how to set those goals in a high energy group environment. So I've got my 5-star law of attraction masterclass, which is called Quantum Leap. And the reason why I've called it that is because the quantum describes that energetic force that, it's kind of that unseen vibrational energy. And, that's what Albert Einstein described when he was talking about quantum physics. And it's about a leap in that energy. And it's basically a 5-week program. So it'll be starting next Wednesday night, so a week from today, at the same time at 8:30 on a Wednesday night for an hour. And so there's 5 sessions. We'll be talking about law of attraction theory, so the science behind it. We'll be talking about that in more depth, but also the practice. So each week there's a little exercise for you to do. There's also a closed Facebook group so that you can share as you go. So you can write up your intention, and I can give feedback, and other people can give feedback about how you're going. It's interactive, so it's going to be like tonight, but there'll be more talking, so everyone will have a chance to talk and share and feedback, as well as me teaching. So it's kind of both. You'll get the recordings of each week to keep forever, so that you can refer back to the learnings at any time. And there's also a guided meditation that I've recorded to help you visualize what it is that you want for extra power. So how will you benefit? So it will help raise your vibration. It will help you get really clear about what you want and how to write it down using the law of attraction principles. You can benefit from the group intention. So when we share our intentions as a group, everyone puts their energy toward that. And there's been, the science has shown that the more people that put an intention towards something, the more powerful it is. Generally just live life with more ease and flow and more trust. And of course, to bring your dreams to life, like what happened with Arch and his dream to go to help at the orphanage in Thailand. So this is James. James is a business owner in Queensland, and he said, "This course has been an intense healing journey for me. By discovering the why of attracting money into my life, my focus has completely shifted from a negative to a positive mindset. The biggest lesson for me now is that earning money has not become my primary focus. I'm focusing on what else is important, and the money is flowing." Thanks, Steph. So in terms of the 5 weeks, so each week is a topic. So the first topic talks about the science of the law of attraction. The second week, we practice setting our goals using the law of attraction, and we share our goals and intentions with each other in the group. And I workshop it so that I help you tweak your goals and add the feeling to it, and maybe add a little bit more detail, or maybe point out something obvious that I feel like you might have left out, something like that. In week 3, we look at what personality type are you, and how does that affect your manifesting ability. Week 4, we talk specifically about the law of attraction and money, and the energy around money is specifically. And then in week 5, we talk about moving forward, how to keep your vibration high so that you continue to attract good things in your life. So the investment for the 5 weeks is $247, but if you sign up before next Monday night, then it's $197 for the 5 weeks. And quite a few people who have already done Quantum Leap tell me that I'm crazy selling it for that price, because it's worth double and even triple that. But I really want to help people. I don't want money to be an issue. So if you need a payment plan, just let me know. We can figure it out. So I'll be starting. There's a limit. I'll only take 10 people because it is interactive, and I want everyone to have an opportunity to share and to grow. So we'll be starting next Wednesday, the 19th of October. This is Marina. She had been working on her money mindset for over a year, I think it's meant to be. But just in 5 weeks, she'd seen really foundational changes in her reactions to money situations, and also in her business. She started taking a lot more proactive action in her business. She's become calmer and more determined to make things happen. The live sessions are well worth the effort to be present on, questions answered, stories shared, and it's all about us and our experiences. The activities were really easy to implement, but challenged previous thinking. I just loved Stephanie's down-to-earth approach. I also would like to offer you the opportunity to have the entire course plus 2 one-on-one sessions with me for $397. So if you feel like you want closer one-on-one stuff, I also have coaching packages, long 6-month coaching packages one-on-one as well. But in terms of the manifesting course, the people who have done the course plus had a couple of one-on-ones with me have had some really, really amazing results. So I'll send you guys the link in the email, but all the information is at highperformanceclub.com/QL. So that's for Quantum Leap. So if you would like to sign up for that 5-week program, then that's how you do it. So I'll just be taking 10 people, and I've got at least 10 people who couldn't make it on live tonight, who asked me to send them the recording of this. So yeah, if you'd like to sign up, please do so. So that's the end of the webinar. So if you've got any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen again and come back. And I'd also like you to just type in the chat box just before we say goodnight about one action that you're going to take as a result of hearing what I had to say tonight. So as I say, knowledge is wonderful, but to go away and actually take action and actually apply something that I've taught, just pop in the chat box one thing that you're going to apply. Don't all speak at once. Okay, learning to raise your vibration. Yep, excellent. Keep looking for the signs that the universe is working in your favor. Cool. Work on my language and responses to other people's dreams, especially partner and kids. Great. Thanks, Anita. Rhonda, very grateful for this session. Glad I attracted this. We'll be getting very clear on why and writing it down. Awesome. Yeah, you know, the synchronicity of, you know, of even coming across me and being able to be on tonight, you know, everything works sort of in a divine manner. And when we can really see how everything works, you know, to get us where we want to go, when we really open our eyes to that, it's really powerful stuff. Yeah, cool. Someone else has written, just be grateful, be more grateful for all the things that I do have rather than always looking toward the things that I don't have. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone. If no one's got any more questions, I shall bid you good evening. Look, about 9:25, that's just under an hour. That's pretty good timing. I'm really grateful for your presence and for allowing me to share my knowledge with you. It's what I really want to do. And yeah, if you guys weren't on, it'd be pretty boring talking to myself. So really great. Namaste. And I'll hear from you again soon. See ya.